morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the midweek Wednesday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Welcome. Today is what? Wednesday, the 4th day of September. We are in the new month. When last we met, it was in August, but now here we are on the 4th day of September 2024, and we're here to give you another episode, another fascinating episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. So much has happened since we last met on the regular program last Wednesday, and then I had a special on Friday, and a lot of I discussed some issues, and here we are this morning. Share the live, and let people know that we are on, we are rearing and ready to go. You know, we got to come to you, we got to bring you the information, we have to address all of these issues that they're coming with all the propaganda and so on, and we are going to do that this morning. We're going to do it this morning. We're not going to allow these things, these malicious statements and these false things to go unanswered. We are going to answer it. And as I've said to you repeatedly, when I and my colleague, we put the facts out there, you are sensible, educated, and intelligent enough to know the truth from the falsehood. And that is what we got to do. And if that upsets them, well, that is on them. That is not on us. So here we are once again to bring you this Wednesday's program, midweek program, Wednesday. And my colleague, Mr. Conway, is in the studio, ready and rearing to go. What a wonderful day, this day. Another day that the Lord has made, and we must rejoice and be glad in it. We must celebrate being in the land of the living. And I have, I think it's 2 announcements to make in relation to deaths. You know, we don't know when our day will be called. So therefore, we have to live our life purposefully. And so here we are. Share the live. I encourage you again to make sure you subscribe. I know more and more of you have been doing that. Subscribe to the channel and to like the page on Facebook. When I say subscribe to the channel, that is on YouTube. And when we schedule, as we did this morning, just around 7, a lot of people poured in right away into the schoolyard. And when we went live, we already have hundreds of you on the live. All we say to you, when you come on, now that you come on, give us a thumbs up, share the live, give us a thumbs up, show your appreciation, and we are going to bring the information to you. And again, you know, from time to time, we get these challenges, technological challenges. This morning, after the program was scheduled, the computer froze on me. The computer froze. I did all kind of thing to get it working again, and I eventually got it to reboot. But in that process, I think the first 13 persons who came on just before 7, just around 6:59, they were bunk staff of the roll call. They were bunk staff. Well, I have the record, as I told you. I keep a record, so I know exactly who the first persons were on the program. And as we will say, we're going to go into the preamble, which is the roll call, the announcements, and then we're going to delve straight into the issues. We are rearing. I am rearing. I got to apologize to you. I miss you too. You know, people reach out to everyone. They miss Monday. The last program we had, I had a Friday special, but the last program we had together, Mr. Conway and I, was last Wednesday. And people complained and said this thing too long. I believe it too long too. I suffer a lot. From not having you students in class for the regular session on Monday. But you know, Monday was Labor Day in Brooklyn. Eastern Parkway Jam. And you know, there's something, I couldn't hold a class then and deprive some students of that. I know they would have gone back late in the night and watch it on YouTube and all of that. But I felt it would have been unfair to hold a program then. But you know, we say, if it comes to making up, we are going to do that. We are going to make up. So here we are with this program. And let me quickly do the roll call. And as I've said, this is another day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. With the roll call, I indicated to you that the first, let me make sure I get it right. Some people were bunk staff. And as I've explained repeatedly, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That is a system, that is a platform. And the first 12 persons were bunk staff. And those persons are Peter Nunes, or Nunes, however it is pronounced. He came on at 6:59. He was followed by Ulrich from Crane, Then you had Floyd, Wayne, and this is Wayne Little from the UK, Ella, Carl Johnson, Derek Trotman, Matthew James, Vibort and his Larson, Anthony Bradshaw from Peters Hall, Patrick Gittins, and Carlton Lewis. Those were the first 12 persons in the schoolyard, and they were bank staff. So you will see the next set. We have Sean, then John, and then after that we had Kenneth from Maryland, Gibbo from Brooklyn, Desiree from Georgia. We have a right cross section. And I know Colin is from New Jersey, Lennox, don't know where he's from, Ovid, Felicia, Raul, Evelyn, Carlisle, the original black man is here, Aubrey from Canada, Malcolm, then it was Bert. After Bert, we had Rhonda, and this is Rhonda Chance. Then we have another Sean, this is Maxwell, Keelan, Terrence Young from Canada, 9795. Then it was Tessa from Florida, Isabella, Earl, Lynette from the UK, Pamela from West Dem, Wayne, Denise from Florida, Marcia, then it was Clarence, Everett from Texas, then Anka, Vibort, and this is Vibort Smith. After Vibort, it was Gaston, my squad mate. He is from Canada. Edward is here. Then we had Cecile, Lynette from the UK. After Lynette, it was Clement, Pauline, Patricia from New Jersey, the Marcus, Howard, Michael, and this is it's just Michael, Magnell, Reginald, my squad mate, not my squad mate, my friend, 9707 is on the live. Clifton 9339 is here. Pito 8152. Then it is Winston from the UK. Leon 10025. Then it was George. Like 11899 was George, I think. Akko, Vibort, and this is Vibort John. Anthony, and this is Jarvis because you have other Anthony's. Barbara, and this is Barrington, the other Barbara's on. Evanlina, Forbes, Brian, and Brian is from Brooklyn. Courtney is from New Jersey, but he says he's right now El Dorado, West Coast Barbies. El Dorado, another El Dorado spirit, not the liquor, not the rum, one of the best in the world, but it is El Dorado Village, West Coast Barbies. Gene is here. And then it was Ainsworth, the man, the K, we call him K. You're going to find out today why he was called K. Then we have Colin from Queens, Emerson. Then it is Princess Earl from Lamar Springs, Barlett from the Hills in Linden, Hazel, Charlene. Then it was Francis from Melanie Damashana, Debbie from Providence, Patricia from Philadelphia. Then it's another Brian. This is Brian Greenwich. Then it was Floyd. After Floyd, who's next? Glendon. Glendon, 0540. He talks about a fellow student, 0540 from Oshokati. Well, he was from Oshokati, and I was from Ondangwa in Namibia. That is where we work with the United Nations. Then it is Richard. Then it is Walterine, Benjamin, Denise, Booker. After Denise, it is Jakey, Gavin. Sorry, something went wrong. Okay. Then it was Gavin. After Gavin, it is Rayburn. Then David, me, Jacko from Georgia. He back in Georgia. Welcome. You done eat out all the roti at Corita. You know back in Georgia. Patricia, Marva, Delta 9 Media, Daniel, another man from Linden. Then it was Bonita from West Coast Barbies, Lynette from the UK, Brennan from Brooklyn, Ronald, where you from? He didn't say. Then it was Easy. Then it was Annette, Maureen, Monica. The M's were there. Kevin is here. Troy, Stefan, Dwayne. Then it was Nicola, Abera 1111, Courtney. The African Queen was in the schoolyard. Orin from the UK. Then it was Doreen, my squad mate from Canada. Antoine. Then it was Sandra. Then Vibert from the East Bank. Michael, Samuels, BV Man, Ezekiah. What he said, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice. He said, let me speak out. Don't let us stop. We're going to talk about Duane is here, Melissa, Jerry. Jerry said he don't know why they're trying to stop this program. Jerry said only corrupt people involved in corruption will fight down this program. We are looking to see who they are. I know who they are. Tilula, then it was Queenie from Brooklyn, Lorraine, Raul is here, Danny, Mary, Joseph, Siobhan, Andrew, Amanda, Tashan, Carl, my squad mate from Arizona, who is now in Mexico. Then this was Richard, George, and this is George Mars, Monica, Grantley, another Saul, Clive from the UK, Fergus, L. Ben, Winston, and Winston is from, listen from New York. Welcome to New York. William is here. Then it was Rhonda from Denhamstel, John, Russ, Ricardo, Phil, Rohan Jawar is here, 12863, Vernon, 8152, Pito is here. Then it was MH, Ann is here, Aral, Gordon, Orville, Gloria, Donna, Ronald, Sharon, Noel, Dorette, Roderick, Brenda, Sydney, Kerry, Barbara. Barbara, welcome. This is another Barbara. This is Barbara Ross. Mr. G, Trevor. Then it was Morton, Diane, Chilo, Ulrich from my squad mate. This is the next squad mate of mine, 9555. Then it is Oswald. Then Cranston. Cranston says number 15837. Roger. There's another countryman of mine. Connolly. Jake Ridley. The angel, the only angel. Then it was Sandrine. Then after Sandrine was Vanessa. And the last person on the schoolyard before the doors to the school was Tashan. And then we had Karen, Commissioner Cole, Abdul from Essequibo Coast, Carlton Popo, Edward Charles, Amanda, and the list goes on, Brandy, and the list goes on and on and on. So that's the roll call, which is very, very important. And you could see from the roll call the number of students that were in the schoolyard prior to the school door being open. And for the announcements, let me, we said we normally start off with the sad announcements about passings and so on. The first one that I want to announce is that maybe you would have seen the death of Sergeant Craig, Police Sergeant Craig from Traffic Headquarters. He died suddenly sometime last week. I know when I saw the death of Craig, whom I knew, I reflected Traffic Headquarters, something wrong, Only a couple months ago, another sergeant there, it was Bramel, who crashed on the East Coast and died. Now you have this other sergeant who died suddenly, took in and died quickly. I am believing, I'm not a superstitious person, but when two sergeants from Traffic Headquarters from the same place die within such a short period of time, short period of each other, people then start to get suspicious. Bramel, young man, sergeant, Traffic Headquarters attached to the commission office, I understand, crashed and died on the East Coast. Then we got the sad news, Craig dropping, I understand he was dropping somebody's wife. He was dropping one of his senior's wife home or something like that. And he took him, rushed to the hospital. The man is no more. And then I got a shock of my life on Friday when I was about to do the special. The special Friday started at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And just about 2 minutes to 5, as I was preparing to go live, my phone rang. And the instinctive reaction was to inform the caller, because I recognized the person who was calling. Hey, look, I'm about to do a live. I'm going to call you later. The man said, hold on, let me tell you, man, your squaddy. John Ames died. I mentioned the death last Friday, but I did not call the name because I didn't confirm that. But it was later confirmed that my squad mate and good friend, 9488 John Ames, we joined the force the same day, 1st of March, 1974. And we were close all the years. He was the best man at my wedding. We go to cricket together. We had a long, long friendly relationship. And the thing about that, I was trying to call him because he lives in Barbados. He has property in Barbados. He also lives in Brooklyn, New York. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been trying to get him for Gav. He was just meet up on Gav, and I didn't get you. He called me Saturday night, not last Saturday, Saturday before, and we had a conversation on the phone that lasted well over 2 hours. We talked about everything, and the following Saturday, which is Saturday last, we were to have this reunion, our 50th reunion, and he promised to be there. Said we got to catch up there, and then he also said to me that, look, we got to catch up over TD. He was doing some work on his floor. When the floor finished, I got to go over here and let us hang. And he kept inviting me to spend time with him in Barbados, to go to Barbados. And we promised that that's going to happen in October of this year. So when I heard the news on Friday that John had passed, I was shocked. I was shocked. And it goes to show that none of us know what's in store when it comes to that. So we got to live life right. And let me say this, I know some of my Christian students and so on might be a little upset, but I can say it nevertheless. Good man, John Ames, good man. Good man. A real brother. We move like brothers. Cricket, anything. He liked the cricket. He played cricket for Police, second division. Good people passing. And they have some of these hypocrites, some of these treacherous ones who are there and to make people life miserable. But you know, as we say, don't question God's work. And maybe you want to make sure that they're wrong, so some of them could punish. That might be too easy for some of them. They got to stay wrong and they have to punish. I hear one of them already shaking, yarn shaking. You got to, as I've said before, perhaps they got to be wrong, and I will be wrong to see them walk like Jacob. You know the song with Shadow? Don't tell me to walk with, well, they said don't walk with something because Jacob does walk and shake up. So they got to walk, they got to punish. That will be too easy for some of those people, right? They have to punish. And who can forget, we heard recently of the death of Sir Sheridan Ramphal, former Commonwealth Secretary General, former Minister of Legal Affairs in Guyana, an outstanding Guyanese citizen. Outstanding Guyanese citizen passed away recently. At the ripe age, I think he was 94 or somewhere around there. Not so long ago, we had Dave Martin. Good people are passing. And these trench crappos, as they would call them and so on, they're wrong, only trying to make people's life miserable. But God has his plan. And we don't know what the plan is. All I am saying to you now, folks, that you got to take care of yourself because you don't know when that fateful day will come. You don't know the circumstances. So even though they sit and they scheme and they plot, God is in charge and his will shall be done. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we are going to, well, let me bring in and then I'll make some board. Before I bring you CC, let me quickly go through the board announcements. And I should have said condolences to the relatives and friends of those persons who have passed. In terms of John Ames, I got word a while ago, you might have noticed, some of you, that the introduction this morning was unusually long. That's because I was getting information as to the funeral arrangements. John will be buried, well, the funeral service and viewing will be next Friday. That's Friday the 13th at Gorino's funeral home on Flatlands. Those of you in Brooklyn know Flatlands Avenue, Brooklyn, that's where it will be. The night before, that's the Thursday night, there will be a wake at the American Legion Hall. I think that's in 92nd Street. And that will be from 8 to 12. From 8 to 12. And the on Saturday, John will be buried. Remember, the viewing and the service will be on Friday. But then there will be another service, short service on Saturday morning before his burial at Cypress Hill Cemetery. And then the repast will be at the same American Legion Hall after the burial on Saturday. So that is the arrangement as conveyed to me by his daughter. I will keep you guys posted, especially the members of Course 74. I'm going to post it in the WhatsApp group. And to say too, we had the reunion nevertheless on Saturday. It was a fantastic occasion. We met, we drink, we had something to drink, we ate, and we teased, especially us men, teased each other. Old time story, we talk old time story and so on. So yeah, we had a grand occasion and we missed John because John had promised to be there and then he died. let me say, in terms of the birthday greetings, let me see where I have those. There are lots and lots of birthday, and today I know is the birthday of retired senior superintendent and former traffic chief Neil Semple. Semple has a birthday today. Congratulations on all the best for your birthday. Today is the birthday of a former member, Janet DeHart. She has a birthday today. Belated birthday greetings are going out to Assistant Commissioner Sheena Ryan. I think he's the man in Region 3. Then we have also Senior Superintendent Philip Azor. He celebrated the birthday recently. Philip, all they doing you hanging there, my brother. They do you all kind of thing, or they continue to do all sort of thing. Hanging there. Philip had a birthday recently. Lado, retired Senior Superintendent Evan Graham. We know to us as Lado. Lado had a birthday recently. I think recently too, woman inspector Stacey Allen had a birthday. Retired Deputy Superintendent Claiborne Johnson Chubby. Man, he was spent a lot of time at the TSU in the arms room, in the arms store rather. He had a birthday recently. Ian Amsterdam, retired Assistant Commissioner Ian Amsterdam. His birthday was on Monday, but anniversary on Monday. Then we had the retired Assistant Commissioner Ronald Stewart. Bamboo had a birthday recently as well. Also celebrating a birthday recently was Michael Newland. I think he's an assistant superintendent. I am not sure of his rank. He had a birthday recently. And a man who is on the program regularly, retired Sergeant Michael Brower. He too had one recently. My squad mate 9500, Michael Clark, had one recently. We had retired ASP Alwyn Hoyt. He had one recently. And then a recent birthday to the Dr. Mark Cotton. Dr. Mark Cotton had a birthday recently. I think it was on the 1st. And happy belated birthday to all those who celebrated recently. And I know one of the students here very early this morning, Joan from New Amsterdam, Joan Robertson, will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow. Joan, to advance birthday, and also celebrating a birthday soon is my co-host, Mr. Conway. He can't get to this Friday. It's his birthday, so I want to wish all of those people who celebrated already and who are celebrating today and who will celebrate in the near future all the best, all the best. Brissy, I can bring you now. I know I caught you by surprise, but I can bring you now. Oh, welcome, my brother.
All right. Good morning and thank you. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. We have a lot to talk about. And I just want to say a couple of things about Sir Sridhat Ramphal. We had share a good relationship. I got to know him sometime when I was a little boy just coming out of school. He used to go in there at Barry Creek. He was the attorney general then. He used to go in there at Barry Creek. He had a house there and also the Veers and the McDCs. And they used to do a lot of hunting, especially wild ducks. I think once they took Barbados Prime Minister there, Earl Barrow there. And my grandfather was perhaps the best huntsman there. He was a cattle farmer, a rice farmer, and he used to look after Sir Sridhat's property there. He was the caretaker. So I used to go in there and I got to know him. And they used to call my grandfather Labor. And I remember when I applied to join the police force and I had some difficulties with the recruitment section where I had 130 pounds. And the man in charge here said, you gotta get 135, at least 135. Well, you can't hold on no thief man with 130 pounds. So I said, but I get a little qualification. I got PC, I got CP, and I got some GC. He said, right now, me looking after qualification, I looking after pounds. And they pushed me around. And my grandfather sent me to Sir Sridhat. He was the attorney general there in Main Street. And he picked up the phone and he called Arston, the commissioner. And the rest is history. I joined the police force, and I became an assistant commissioner. And I still kept in touch with Sir Sridhat. Anytime he see me, he's called me Labor grandson. I remember when I became an assistant commissioner, I met him at the Pegasus, and he said, Labor grandson, you're an assistant commissioner? And even when I retired, we met again. Perhaps he was following me, and he said, hey, little grandson, you're retired. And he did one thing too. When my cousin, Dr. Udin Ishmael, became Guyana ambassador to Washington, so Shrida took him in and he said, come, let me train you about diplomacy and foreign affairs. And Udin benefited a lot from Sir Sridat. So I'm sorry that he passed, and may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, may his soul rest in peace and rise in glory. Yes, thanks for that, CC. Now let me go straight into some of these major matters. Now, the first one I want to address, as I said, last week, Friday gone, I had this special program to address a malicious letter or a malicious statement made by the police. I guess it's the Unprofessional Corporate Communications Unit, where they claim that the Guyana Police Force is currently investigating another serious allegation made under the Sexual Offences Act by Act of Guyana by a female against Paul Slow. And I go on to talk a lot of crap, which I addressed on Friday. Now, having addressed that on Friday, they come out with another statement. They came out with another statement. I did not read it. Well, I read it initially, but I didn't analyze it. But I did so recently because, hey, wait, sir. Hey, what it says. I want to tell you all so that I can go into this properly. The Guyana Police Force, in a statement on Saturday, said that Paul Slow, in an online news article concerning the latest criminal conduct committed by him, is quoted as saying that he was not questioned, detained, or asked to report to the police for questioning or to have a confrontation with the person who made the allegation. According to the statement, the Guyana Police Force said that what Paul Slow did not mention in the said article was that from the date he committed the latest offense to present, he was not in Guyana. Therefore, he could not have been questioned nor detained by members of the Guyana Police Force. And then I go on. Well, let me address that part. CC, bear with me. Let me address that part. At no stage did I talk about any confrontation. I have a letter in the media which was published, I think it might have been Sunday or sometime. I have a statement on my Facebook page, speaking out on my personal Facebook page. You can go and read. At no stage did I mention anything about confrontation. They don't have to tell me about the law. I know what the requirements of the law are, and I did not mention anything about confrontation. What I did say is that at no stage was any allegation put to me. No one told me of any investigation. And I maintain that they have not said so. But then these jackasses, you got to call them by their real name, you know. They say, well, the reason why I was not questioned, detained, or asked to report to police because I was outside of the country, outside the jurisdiction. But in their original release that they gave, they said, let me read what they say. They say it, not me. These utterances and attack on a victim of sexual offense represent a clear breach of the Sexual Offences Act of Guyana. Having received a report of this breach, the Guyana Police Force, in accordance with its clear mandate of Section 3.2 of the Police Act, Chapter 1601, and they're quoting it, the due enforcement of all laws and regulations, which is directly charged, end of quote, in collaboration with its overseas counterpart, has commenced an investigation. That's in collaboration. So, all right, good. As you're saying, Slow is out of the jurisdiction. You couldn't put the allegation to him. You couldn't question him in relation to his mother. What happened to the overseas counterparts that you referenced in your statement? You see how unprofessional, how stupid these people are? And more than right, when you analyze it, I will analyze it and I will expose them. Because if you're saying that, look, you didn't put any allegation to me, nor did you ask me to anything. You haven't questioned me. You haven't put no allegation to me. And you're saying that is because I was out of the jurisdiction. But you said in your statement that this investigation is being conducted, let me read it, in collaboration with its overseas counterpart. You say you're doing an investigation in collaboration with the overseas counterpart. So why did the overseas counterpart did not do that if you couldn't? Why? Or why you didn't send, as you have done in the past, why you didn't send an officer from Guyana to travel to where I am to say they're going to put allegation to me? Because you claim that you have the type of powers. Remember, a police officer traveled all the way from Guyana to Brooklyn to say he's serving a summons or getting someone to serve a summons on Rickford work. So similarly, you could have sent someone to say they put an allegation to me. But just to show you how incompetent and how unprofessional and how weaponized the police force is. That is all I'm showing you. How weaponized they are. And more they're right because they are so dunce, they are so stupid. More they're right, more they expose their stupidity. Again, I say, I have never ever said anything about confrontation. Read my releases. Read what is carried in. It is carried in on Village Voice. It is carried in Starbrook News. It is carried in Kaicho News, and on my Facebook page, Speaking Out, and my personal Facebook page. It is there, so you can go and read. So they talk about confrontation, and then here what I say that specifically Section 42 of the Sexual Offences Act, Chapter 803 states, and they go on to quote, Sexual Offences Act 803. I thought they were using the new Sexual Offences Act 1003 of 20 of 20 of 2010. I don't get a copy. I just buy it like Canway. I just bought Act number 7 of 2010, the Sexual Offences Act 2010. But they're going back to quote 803, Chapter 803 Sexual Offences Act. So they ain't bothered with this any longer. They ain't bothered. They're quoting Section 42(1) of the Sexual Offences Act, Chapter 803. But let me tell them too what the Sexual Offences Act 2010 states, Section 41. It says, and I read it before, they say, where an offense under this act is reported to the police shall, in every case, record the report and conduct an investigation. Within 3 months of the complaint being made under Section 1, a charge shall be laid in respect of the report, or the file relating to the report and investigation shall be sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions for advice. So, yeah, that is what it says. So, what happened to the Darm Lal allegation that Manuel Moore intervened and said they don't have any credible evidence? The law says that matter, the police should have filed a charge against Darm Lal within 3 months. The 3 months passed a long time now. They're saying in the absence of that, you should send the file to the Director of Public Prosecution for legal advice. Has that been done? You're coming after me about this, but you don't do that. And let me tell you something. As I said, I'm gonna continue to talk about it. I will continue. I never said anything about confrontation, and I am saying I don't hide and say anything. I don't come under no pseudonym or something. I come in as me, Paul Slow, and tell you what I have to tell you. So they come and they're manipulating, but they are so incompetent that the very statements that they issue, they contradict themselves and show the motivation, which is to criminalize me, to stigmatize me. That is what they are out to do. But they're not going to succeed. You know why they're not going to succeed? I tell people I'm no Johnny come lately. I've been around. I served in the force for 37 years, and I've been around. People know me. People know what Paul Slow stands for. People know. And they come with all of these trumped up things. They're trying to drag my name through the mud and so on. And they believe I can cover and I can hide in the corner. No, I will not. I will come as I've been doing and let the public know, let the world know what this is all about. Let the world know. And let me tell you all something. Let me tell you something. I using my crystal ball. I using this crystal ball. Because based on the statement they made, right? Based on the statement they made, what they're going to do, they're going to come up with some cockamania story in a file and send it to the Director of Public Prosecutions for legal advice. The Director of Public Prosecutions, who retired senior counsel, or not the late senior counsel, Bernard DeSantis said, right? That is Bernard DeSantis said so. He said that the suspicion among the criminal bar, meaning that the lawyers who practice in criminal law in the court, is that the Director of Public Prosecutions, whose husband is a Muslim cleric, cannot separate our religion from our professional duties. That is what Bernard DeSantis said back then in the NBS case where they hung Mr. Arjun and all those people. That is what Bernard DeSantis, who is a former Attorney General under the PPP administration. That is what I said. That's what Bernard. So they're going to send the file to the DPP, and the DPP can write 1 or 2 words, a couple of words. The one word now she just write approve, because they will recommend some charge. She can write approve, or she gonna say approve charges. Nothing more, non-expedition, nothing telling and go. That is what my crystal ball is saying. After which, they will go to the court. They're gonna file charges, charges. They're gonna file either as I said, under the Sexual Offences Act, they say trying to intimidate the victim, which I have never done, or they're gonna go say, well, it's a cyber crime. They're gonna file some charge. So that is what the crystal ball say. Having filed the charge, let me tell you how carefully. Having filed the charge, when the matter is called before the court, either Mandelmo, the prosecutor, whoever the police prosecutor is, will be instructed by the big nose one, Nosef, and them. They will be instructed to apply for a arrest warrant. That is what they will be instructed to do. To file the charge, even though they have never questioned me, they have never asked for my side, and all of that. They're going to be instructed to file charge, and when they file the charge, they're going to ask for warrant. Now, if the court functions as it should, as happened before, the magistrate will not grant the warrant because they ain't got no evidence that I put on bail, that I was questioned. They ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing. And if the court function in the manner in which it should function, that is what should happen. On the last occasion, when that was rejected, they then went and applied for a summons. They got a summons, and it was not properly served. They left it at Milaya. But I tell them, you're going to fight her. I ain't running and hiding from anything. I will turn up, which I did. So they're going to do that. And then they're going to sit back now, and they're going to decide, well, at some stage, Slow got to come. Well, I will go at some stage. I will go. And then what's going to happen? They might come to the airport, as they did before, to arrest me when I come out the flight. Man, thing there. Imagine that. Come to the airport. I am going, when I went there the last time, on the 13th of October, 2021, I went there, and they turned up at the airport. Well, no, I'm sorry, I was going the 19th of May. They turned up on the airport to arrest me when I arrived. And they're going to try to do the same thing again because they want to. And when they come, they're coming with the people in the media from newsroom and all of them to take out photograph, and they're going to think that's what I want to do. For splashes all over the world that pass through and in and cuff, and they're going to claim that me is a criminal. Right? That's what they're trying to do. So, yeah. So what's going to happen then? Once at some stage they'll try to arrest me, and they're going to give me a 72. In other words, they're going to lock me up somewhere for 72 hours. Right? 72 hours. Let me say this clearly, and this is not bluffing. Let me tell you this clearly. I am not afraid of them. I am not. I am not afraid of being locked up for 72 hours. The next thing when I appear, what's going to happen when I appear eventually, I don't know if the charge is going to be laid summarily or indictably. I suspect it's going to be laid indictably. And once I laid indictably, when the matter is called and I am there, then they're going to ask for bail to be refused and that it should be remanded to the to jail. They're going to do that. That is how wicked they are. That is how wicked they are. They're going to do that. I know. I read the book. I see the book. I know the book. I read the book. All they're doing is trying to smear, but people know me. People know me. So, folks, let me say this. I thank all of those who have been offering prayers and who said they're praying for me and all this everything. They want to see me on my knees begging them. They want to see me on my knees. I made the point before. The only time they see me on my knee is when I go down to pray for them. Is when I go on my knees to pray for them. I'm not gonna go on my knees like the others. And some of them when they go up on the knees, they cock up their posterior, but people put things in the you know where. That is what they are doing. I am not afraid. And you know why I'm not afraid? Unlike them, I know that I have to die one day. I know that one day I have to die. I'm 69 years old. The squad who died suddenly on Friday, he would have celebrated his 70th birthday in December of this year. Good man. Get all his property and sort himself out. God said time for you to come home, you have to go. I know that I have to go, and I know it's I will go when the Lord decides for me to go. Which brings me to the next thing before I bring me Mr. Conway. Those of you onto social media and so would have seen, I think it was yesterday, I saw it last night, that they're saying that they get elements in New York who trying to contact people from the underworld to assassinate Slow, and I think Slow and Melly Mel, right? Me and Melly Mel, they're trying to get people to assassinate us. Why? Because we're talking through. I can't talk for Melly Mel, talking for me. Because we are coming here and we are telling you the truth and exposing their incompetence and corruption. For that, they want to kill me. And this is not the first time I got word like that. You recall in 2021 or 2022, I was in Guyana and I got word that elements of the PPP were canvassing the underworld to put it to shut up slow. That is what it was said. They were there to shut up slow. And then the Attorney General, I call the name, because I get the records, Nandalal, when asked about it, said, oh, slow trying to some seek popularity or some word to that effect, he said. That is what he said when the thing was broadcast. It was aired that people in Guyana at the time, 2021 into 2022, I think it was, were going to people in the underworld to shut up Slow. Oh, he said Slow trying to seek attention. That is what the Attorney General is reported in the media to have said, that I'm trying to seek attention. So this time around now, they're trying to recruit people, that is the allegation, in New York to assassinate me and Melly Mill. That is what came to light within the past 24 hours. And people have been reaching out and say, "I take it easy, take it." Let me say further too. The conversation that I had with my squad mate, John Ames, 2 Saturday nights ago, that lengthy conversation. He told me, he said, Squaddy, be careful. But he don't say Squaddy, he always call me Mr. Slow. Mr. Slow, be careful. These people going to assassinate you. I said, John, I'm not afraid. He told me that. He told me that. So that is what they're hustling. And let me tell you something, as I did the last time, I have the records and so on. I know the person in Guyana who is alleged to be behind this. I know the person in the US who is supposed to be doing the groundwork, and I have made the report to the relevant authorities. That is all. I have made the report to the relevant authorities. So I'm glad that you people have been saying to me to be careful and to be careful. I will always be careful. I tell you, I've said before, even though I'm not afraid, I'm not going to stand in the middle of the road or in the middle of traffic. I am not suicidal. I am not. I will take all the necessary precaution. So that is the thing. They are trying their very best. They are trying their very best to criminalize me, to tarnish my good reputation. But as I said, they're not going to succeed because people know who I am. Even many of their supporters know the type of person Slow is, and they know these allegations are far removed from what Slow is. Let me tell you all this before bringing Mr. Conway. Many years ago when I was traffic chief, we had a meeting at the police officers' mess, what we call the Lightbarker Hall. For those of you, many of you don't know it, but it is in the top flat on the westernmost section. There's a veranda-like place there. And the Minister of Home Affairs then was Ronald Gadraj. He came and he addressed us, senior officers, traffic and other people and so on. The commissioner at the time, Lois might have been there. And during the course of his address, he said that somebody went to him and told him that there's a senior person in traffic who was collecting monies from people, collecting bribe from people. He did not mention the name, but he said senior person in traffic. I was the traffic chief at the time. And at the end of the meeting, the end of the formal part of the meeting, I broccoli, because we had a very good professional relationship at the time. I said, Minister, you got to tell me who this person is. You can't hear that somebody in traffic taking money and you're telling me. I got to know. He laughed. So I said, no, you got to I insist. You got to tell me. He turned to me, he said, it's you is the person the man said. I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, you don't got to worry because I told him that the Paul Slow that I know will never be involved in any such thing. That is Ronald Gadrach telling him, man, telling me that the Paul Slow that I know will never be involved in this. I said, thank you, Minister, and I will not let you down. I will never, ever be involved in any type of corruption. He said, I know that. You don't have to tell me. I know that. So that is what people know me. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to get a little of this action, man. See, your comments, and I'm sure you would have read what the police talk about. No need for confrontation and a whole bundle of crap they talk. What are your comments and views, my brother?
I read it, and I had to laugh. I feel it's a big joke because I remember when we talking about Dharamlal, we spoke all about that there was no need for any confrontation. We quoted the law, and now they're talking about the Sexual Offences Act, and then they're using a wrong act. They're so confused. But you got to be told what they're investigating, and it's embedded in the Constitution, Article 144 2B. The Constitution is saying the person shall be informed as soon as reasonably practical in a language that he or she understand and in detail of the nature of the offense charge. So they're talking about in a language that he understand and in detail. They must say sexual offense. They must say exactly what is the sexual offense that you've committed. And then I just want to go back to the case. The person, I mean, it's before the court, and I can't say certain things, but certain things I can say. Certain things I can say, certain things I wouldn't disclose the merits and the demerits of that case. Although I saw the file and I read the statements. I was privileged to read the statements, so I won't come. I would comment on the merits or demerits. But what I could say is that this offense that you were charged, unless you have committed in 2019, you were charged in 2020, and up to now, you have a right to be concerned, not a witness. As testified, not a witness. Mondelmo can't bring a witness to give evidence. Not a witness. And the bare facts on the face of it, what is saying, what Nicole Kennel is saying, that you rupture legs on 3 occasions. Whilst we were reviewing the police standing order. That is the basic, and I can't get shit from 2020 to now to go in the box to have her day in court. I mean, they do her a discredit. They do her discredit. Let you go and talk your story. Let you go and get you day in court since 2020. And they can't get you for going to court. She was an ASP then. She got accelerated promotion to superintendent. And in the last bogus recommendation, they made a recommendation for senior superintendent. So I'm not commenting on the merits of it, because I'm saying that you get charged in 2020, where she alleging that you rubbed your legs on 3 different occasions, and up to now, they can't get you for going the box and give evidence, so that she can get your day in court and you can get your day in court.
Now let me make some quick corrections in terms of the dates. And I don't have to refer to any notes. The charge was laid on the 19th of May 2021. The 3 charges, along with the charge with the other Mr. Conway and them for conspiracy to commit fraud. According to the statements which were served, the complaint was made either the 14th or 15th of April 2021, and the offenses are alleged to have occurred on the 26th and 29th of March and 2nd of April 2019. That's it. As I said, we don't go into the details of the charge, but that is what it is, and we're saying that is what the allegation is. And what is wrong in saying what the allegation is? And none of these things at no time, even that one, now this one with the writing in the paper, no one has asked me anything about it. Nobody ever come and say, "But look, this allegation is made against you. What do you caution you and what you have to do?" Nothing, never ever, never ever. And it goes to the DBP, and the DBP said charge. And again, he gonna go and she gonna say charge. That is what happening. That is what is happening. And as Mr. Conway points out, the Constitution is clear. Don't tell me this. They said no confrontation. I agree, because we had said that in the Diamond case. No confrontation is not required. No confrontation is required. And we understand why. There's no confrontation. But you telling me that somebody makes an allegation against another person, and without putting that allegation to the person, you're going to go ahead, you're going ahead and you're going to charge? Without putting the allegation? And in this last case, they said the allegation could not have been put because I am out of the jurisdiction. But they say they're doing this investigation in collaboration with overseas counterparts. The only overseas counterpart they can do an investigation with is the FBI. Is the FBI. That's the only overseas counterpart, because I'm in the U.S. The only overseas counterpart. Nothing, but that is just the wicked things being shown. Wicked. And in the meanwhile, don't forget, they got senior people in the police force, a senior man in the police force, who are journalists accused of sexual assault, a policewoman accused of rape. Is holding on to senior position. They're not investigating that. They're not investigating that. right? And that is more recent. They're not investigating that, but they want to tarnish my character and the image, right? There are other things. They're not investigating the Sugate. Let me show you all this, man. I like showing it. I just get a lot of pleasure for watching the scam squirm. I just get a lot of pleasure for watching him squirm. Where it is, where it is. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Then I investigate this.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
So, so my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
Yeah, they're not Sue, I like watching the squirming. I like to watch how they're uncomfortable and they're squirming. Now investigate that. But they're coming with trumped up things to investigate against. So then they get this big allegation of money laundering. I'm gonna talk about that because I saw something in today's paper. I don't know if you're gonna get time today for dealing with it, but I'm gonna deal with it. Right? Then I investigate, and they claim that they're investigating, but I continue to say that the Special Organized Crime Unit of the Guyana Police Force is not capable of committing that investigation. Because with the same releases you see now, you're seeing more things, you see how the tentacles going, you see where they get something to write, to say, the SOKU is a semi-autonomous body. What nonsense, you know? These people, they want to, like when you've been in school, and you tell them stupidness, somebody come and slap you behind your head for talking stupidness. That is what they want. SOKU is a semi-autonomous agency of the Guyana Police Force. Where SOKU, like many other departments of the police force, is a branch of the force. You get special branch, you get mounted branch, you get the finance section, you get the transport checks, you get TSU. SOKU is a branch just like the other branches. Staff in the main by members of the police force. The man in charge is a member of the police force. Most of the officers or all the investigators there are members of the police force. From time to time, they recruit lawyers to prosecute cases. There was a time when they brought in an advisor, I think the man was Sittleton or something like that, they brought him in. But SOKU is a branch of the Guyana police force. So don't worry, this nonsense, what that thing writing to say all of that. And I say again, when you think that they're dragging because it is alleged that Brutus said that he ain't going down alone. You get the goods and a lot of people, including people in the government. If I get time this to go through, we're going to go through it. Not sure we're going to get the time today, but we're going to come back to it at some stage. We're going to come back. So they're not investigating that. Let me tell you, they're investigating the story where a minister relative, Chandel, is alleged to have supplied $66 million in fish to the Guyana Police Force. $66 million in fish to the Guyana Police Force. They're not arrested. At least we didn't know about that. There was an allegation sometime, I think it was last year, $300 million fraud at the police quartermaster store, where it is alleged that items were set to be delivered and paid for, never, ever delivered. They're investigating that as far as I'm aware. What else? The allegation that we were saying recently, and this is even more than allegation, where big scam in ministries, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Home Affairs, Agile Ministry, the other one, Human Service, all them ministry, the list with vehicles going to get detailed for over $100,000 a pop. One vehicle, tire cover change, 200,000 Guyana dollars. One vehicle for polishing inside and vacuuming inside and thing, 824,000 Guyana dollars. The evidence is there. They're not investigating. They are investigating that. They're investigating this one here. Let me show you all this one here again. Let me show you all this one. Hold on. Wait, look, they're investigating this one.
Guyana's Acting Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken today laid to rest claims that his Deputy Commissioner of Police Acting, Calvin Brutus, is on the investigation by the Special Organized Crime Unit. Hicken spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the first legal conference on criminal justice reform at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown.
It's about Mr. Brutus and the multi-million dollar deposits. Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. And I made a release already through our system.
You didn't see that?
Yeah, I made a release. It's in the system. There was no investigation going on whatsoever.
And no deposits?
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Brutus.
The investigator, which according to any person with any little law enforcement or investigative sense will tell you that amounts to the covering up of a crime. That is what it amounts to. Because at the time when he said so, there was evidence that the money was, in fact, the $16.5 million was deposited at the police credit union and then returned when they recognized that it's an illegal arrangement. And it is alleged that that same man you see talking there, called the people them the next day to the officers, the people at the credit union who stopped this illegal transaction and berated, he bugged them up and he transferred them. They're not investigating that. They're not investigating that, but they investigate some spurious and nonsense thing. As I said, let me tell you something. Let me tell you all again, let me emphasize, I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of Irfan Ali. I'm not afraid of Bharat Jagdeo. I'm not afraid of Robson. I'm not afraid of Nandlal. I'm not afraid of Ikin. I'm not afraid of Blanham. I'm not afraid of none of them. None. Because I am a law-abiding citizen. I do everything, and people know me, do everything by the books. I don't break the law. So all they're trying to fabricate. And you know, in this matter here, let me say this. They're talking about the victim, yeah, the victim. But I am a victim in this too. I'm a victim because, as pointed out, this allegation is made in April of 2021. That these incidents took place in 2019. And up to now, today is September, right? September the 4th. Up to now, I can't get my day in court. Just like how the accuser is anxious to get the date. I would think so. I am anxious to get my date in court to clear my name. So I am also perhaps the biggest victim now in this whole matter because they're dragging my name through the media. They're referring to me as a sexual predator and they're saying all sorts of nasty things. Their supporters, all sorts of nasty things they are saying. So I am a victim. And I am also traumatized by the fact that after all these years, this matter can't come to a trial and let the evidence be produced. Let the thing be subjected to cross-examination. That is supposed to be the system. That is supposed to be the system. But you remember, when I'm coming back to this thing, they want to kill me, Nandlal, on the 29th of June, I said Nanda was Nandlal, on the 29th of June, 2021, on NCN Issues in the News, said that people like me have no place in a society governed by the rule of law. This is a threat to my life. I saw it that way, and a report was made to the police, and nothing was done. Nothing. Nandlal said so. They met at a bar. I got the information. I supplied it to all the authorities. A bar on the East Coast. I think it was during last year. They met at a bar. A lawyer attached to one of them office was in the thing. I got all the names. I got all the information. And they said that there also got to be an ex-communist. For those of you who don't know, Communist was assassinated in Diamond just before, in 2015, just before the election. They said so they met at a bar, a liquor bar, on the East Coast. I have all the information and I have given it to the authorities. I'm not them in Guyana, you know. Because they ain't gonna do nothing. I have provided the information to the people who I think will do something about it. All of them. They met there and they discussed that. And the information came back to me and I did what I supposed to do. So I am not, this is not the first time. And I guess they will continue perhaps until they succeed. I don't know. Right? So, but they're not, let me say, they say, before finally on this matter, before I turn over Mr. Conway, the aim is to stop, intimidate, and to silence me. This program get into them. This speaking out, get into them because we're bringing facts to people. We're analyzing the nonsensical statements that they make. And they ain't like that. People are being educated as to what this thing really is. They ain't like that. So they want to shut me up. But as I told them, only the grave can shut me up. And only Jah or the Lord or God, whatever you want to call it, can determine when that time comes. Not them. Not them with a dirty, nasty, vindictive, incompetent criminal self. Not them. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, then we're going to move on. CC, I'm sure you want to say something more than that, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, not only you two, Paul. I have received threats. They tampering with telephone. You know, and the cameras don't lie, you know. I have received threats, but I didn't report. I report anything to the police. Like you, I reported to persons who I feel are competent to deal with them, and I'm not afraid. I'm doing God's work. Even Jesus Christ and all who was doing God's work, they crucify him, but he rose from the dead. So I'm not afraid of anything. So they could do what they could do. And I hear they're using Pegasus, you know, that Israeli spyware. I think they bought it for about 50 million US dollars. You know, the Arabs friends, the friends in the Middle East who producing island that they're running to, they all of them in the same boat. And they're using the Pegasus software that can turn off your phone, turn on your phone, do all kind of thing with the phone without you knowing. And if you want to know the capabilities of it, go to YouTube and go find out about Pegasus. Or there's a book on Pegasus also. By the way, I buy your book, you can get it back. I ain't keeping it forever.
I'm planning to prepare for going to make a report that you thief me lab book. You thief me Pegasus book. I bought the book. I went into a bookstore and I saw the thing. I bought the book and I read it. When I didn't even finish reading it, I loaned you to read and so on. Well, next thing I got to say, what I'm here to try to do, they're trying to ruin me financially. They decide they are going to bring out of these things. I have to travel and I got to go to court. I got to pay a lawyer and they're going to ruin me financially. That is what they are trying to do. Well, let it continue, man. Let it continue. You see, they get all the backers and all the big set of money, all the thieving money they get and so on. So they can do that. They can appeal and they can run all over the place when the time comes because it's not their money. It's our money they're using to oppress us with. But I going to hang in. Even if I got to eat grass, even if I have to end up eating grass, I am not going to go on my knees and beg them for anything or bow. Let the matters be heard before the court. Let the matters, right? And all with the planning, I am free to travel whenever and wherever I want to travel. Let enough for them attempt to travel now. Now all of a sudden they now got to the US, the US on vacation any longer. They're afraid of being escorted. That is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of being provided with orange suits. They are afraid. So I have seen documents in recent time. Enough of the backers, all them visas and the whole family and so on getting taken. All of them visas getting taken. Hold on. That's a time longer than twine. And Miss Squally tell me yesterday, I was saying, Eddie Hooper, take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your life. They're not going for that. And you take warning. Some of you bother with them. I am not going to be. Look, I'm going to go about my life. I'm going to continue to be careful, and I will continue to ask you to pray and give me your support, which I know you will do. But let me move on. As I said, today is a sweet day. Let me move on. We learned over the weekend, and when I announced the program yesterday, when I put up the announcement, I said we're gonna ask the question. I asked the question: why is it that this major drug bust over the weekend, Robeson said, is the biggest land drug bust ever in the history of Guyana? A major drug bust, 4,400 kilograms of cocaine. That's it, right? Drug bust. And I observed immediately that the Guyana police force was not involved. A major drug bust. And they're talking about law enforcement authority. They're talking about, according to what they're saying, I'm going to play the video just now. What they're saying, KANU, the Custom and Anti-Narcotics Unit, KANU, was involved. The Guyana Defense Force Special Forces Brigade was involved. The DA, the Drug Enforcement Authority, or agency, whatever it is from the U.S., was involved. The Guyana Police Force blank out of this major operation. We're talking here about a force which is supposed to be the premier law enforcement agency in the country. They have this massive operation, then involve them. I wonder why. We're gonna go into that in a short while. But before we go there, let me play the tape with the drug bust. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Listen, it's about 4 minutes. So let's sit back, get your popcorn and listen.
The Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit is continuing its investigation into the more than $40 billion worth of cocaine found concealed in 4 hand-dug bunkers in the Barima Winey Region 1 community of Matthews Ridge. The 4.4 tons of cocaine is the largest land-based cocaine siege in Guyana's history, the local drug enforcement agency said, and it follows months of extensive surveillance and intelligence gathering. Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben was on site witnessing the operation, and he told reporters that the operation was informed by intelligence on illegal flights. He noted that the seizure was as a result of collaboration with the United States Drug Enforcement Agency and other international partners.
The result is that finally acting on information, a few days ago, teams landed from the CANU and the Army and managed to discover and recover 4,000 kilograms of cocaine. It is here behind us. They were buried in 4 pits and very well camouflaged. There are a number of people who were here when the landing was made. A few of them managed to escape, but one person was caught. I have to acknowledge too, of course, beyond the very hard work in the fields even now, and even as we stand here, more cocaine is being brought out from the pits, but the collaboration of the United States Drug Enforcement Agency, who are here with us today. We thought that this find was such magnitude that we had to bring the press out on site to witness the bales all piled up behind me and some more coming in. And after we take some samples, we will burn them.
The drugs were located some 30 minutes from an illegal airstrip in the densely forested Region 1 community. The minister posited that the drug trafficking fight will continue.
That we are aware of certain flights to certain places, illegal. We've been putting in the government with this, and of course, with the energy and interest of President Irfan Ali, we've been putting in much resources and persons into getting on top of this situation. We will continue this fight. We are happy, of course, that we have the United States Drug Enforcement Agency with us, sharing information, intelligence, and backing us up on issues which may occur from time to time, but that this fight will be a long one. We emphasize again that Guyana is a victim of this illegal type of and nefarious activity. We don't produce cocaine. We don't transit it. We don't make the guns, which you see a couple here behind me, a couple rifles. And the important thing of the drug trafficking is associated with the other elements of transnational organized crime. Money laundering, gun smuggling. Homicides are known and unsolvable in many instances. Leads a general decline in law and order in any environment where it takes over. We don't want to get to that place.
Kanu said the seizure highlights government's unwavering commitment to combating the narcotics trade in Guyana and collaborating with international partners. Further, the government is making significant strides to equip the joint services with the necessary tools to combat drug trafficking and other illicit activities within the country.
Now let me quickly. See, I'm gonna bring in just long. Somebody asked the question. I made the same observation. The minister sounded very nervous. Some nervous. I don't know, but he looked nervous. He sounded nervous. Wonder why, right? And then, these people, unbelievable. He praising President Irfan Ali. He's only left, he said, a great leader or the dear leader. He didn't say so yet, but I guess he can say so soon. The president, President Hilaire, he claimed again months that, not he, the reporter thing said, based on what they were told, that months they were observing and all this type of thing. And all this time, this police had no what's going on. The police in the region or elsewhere, and even the people who are doing the monitoring did not trust the police, and that is why he's saying to inform them of what was going on. And then the man say, look, this man, every time he says something, I don't laugh. The man talk about homicides that are unknown homicide. Unknown, I never heard that before. Perhaps he heard of me. Unknown homicide. That is what he's saying. And somebody say he sounded jittery and all this everything. He sounded jittery. But I can bring in Mr. Khan in a while, and then we gotta come back. This is a major, this is what I said. 4,400 kilograms. There's over 8,000 pounds of cocaine discovered in pits. And the usual thing, they like the things. Somebody asked the question, was a lady standing there? I suspect that the people who were speaking to the media, because they flew in people from the media, they flew people from the media in. According to the report yesterday, they did not know what the operation was about, but they flew them in. They spent about 3 to 4 hours at some hotel, then they took them to the location. Then they flew in from Georgetown to Region 1. At this location, he flew in. He ain't carry no police with him, no special branch. The man in charge of Operation Watts, the extended squatter, Blanham, none of them. The man in Region 1, Shah, none of them, no police involved in this operation. None. And it's not me, Cesar. And when I talk about it, I am analyzing this for you. And the question again is why that is so. Why? And the why perhaps is answered this morning. When in the Kaichor News, it says, headline, senior cop fingered in massive cocaine bust at Matthews Ridge. Let me read that back. Today's Kaichor News has an article captioned, senior cop fingered in massive cocaine bust in Matthews Ridge. Is that why they did not share the information with the police? Is that why, I'm asking the question, is that why they did not involve the police in this operation? Because as was reported a while ago, this is not an operation that just you get a water, you move right away. They had time to mobilize, they had time because it is suggested that the observations were made that planes were landing in this area and they suspected that these planes were taking in illegal drugs. So the area was monitored. They went there and they combed. The people were certain that drugs are in the area. They walk a top, they don't find nothing. And they decide that if it ain't there at the top, it must be at the bottom. And therefore, they started to probe and they found the 4 pits, as they say. And somebody analyzed the thing this morning, 4,000 kilograms of cocaine, over 8,000 pounds. And they said based on the runway, is them little plane got to land there. And they were saying that if a little plane has a payload of 600 pounds, it means you have to get several flights to carry the drugs there, several flights. And you want to tell me the police in the area and the people in the area and near plane landing? And somebody said too this morning, a man who was in the chat, that for that type of airstrip, illegal as it is, you have to land there perhaps during the hours of light, of day. Kind of jungle. Or if you're landing during the hours of day, you have to have things to light up the place so people can see where they can land. All of these are things that we got to look at. All of these. So now when they come and they tell you this, we are going to analyze it for you. That is part of this class. We will analyze it for you. That amount of cocaine is no jet carried there. No jet can land there. It's plane, small plane got to carry it. Small plane can't carry 4,000 pounds of cocaine at one lick. There had to be several trips. Perhaps even refuel arrangement, because they said they had camps and all of that in the area. A massive operation. And you want to tell me the police in that area? And no? Let me say, all right, the little layback and then no. But it tells us of the breakdown in the system that we've been talking about all the time. It tells us that there's a breakdown in the intelligence gathering. And I am saying this, not this as a part of it is because they get people watching people like Slow and Conway, and they're watching the politicians and so on, opposition politicians, when should be the primary work. They get special branch running around the place shooting people. They shoot and kill Quindon Bacchus. They shoot 80-something rounds at the police man on the East Bank. That is what they are engaged in now. So the role must have been redefined. But as I know it, that would have been a primary role of the special branch people. You're there in the area there, all the areas in this country. And something like that, the people ought to have known, because you had various intelligence organizations at the regional, at the divisional level. You had those things, and you ought to, if you were functioning properly, you ought to have been told of suspicious activities. And it reminds me, before I bring in Mr. Conway, that some years ago, around 2014, 2015, around that period of time, they had a plane, you remember the plane in the Lethem area? And the commander there claimed that they didn't know they moved the commander. Commander now is a big thing in the force. The commander is a big thing in the police force. So I suspect with this here too, unless Uncle Sam intervened, nothing can happen. They might move the man from there and put he at some other position and so on. But nothing can happen, because my information from reliable source, that this thing going on long and the people in there know, because the protection was provided. And I understand every time a plane land is a 20 million to some people. The people call 2 names to me. 2 names of people used to get 20 million to allow the thing to land. 20 million Guyana dollars for every landing. So if we say 5-6 landing, you could do your calculation. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. See, I know you want, you're jumping at the bit, obviously. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I must have my say, and more so I was a commander for the interior. I was commander for Region 1, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I know the area, I know Matthews very well. And there were reports, rumors circulating that a lot of cocaine is being shifted in containers through Port Kaitumo, through the river to the seas for overseas destination. Containers of cocaine. And then they had to build an airstrip, and they had to use heavy duty equipment. I know they get miners there, yes, with heavy duty equipment. I know the Chinese who said they're doing manganese there get heavy duty equipment. They have to get heavy duty equipment from somewhere. And then this is a major security failure. Major. What about the neighborhood police? What about the community policing? What about the station management committee? What about something that's called a regional intelligence committee? And on the other hand, what about the special branch? What about the joint intelligence committee? And there's a big one which Larry Lewis had formed, the Hinterland Intelligence Committee, where we used to meet at least once a month. And it involved aircraft owners association, the big miners, the small miners, the GRA, and all those people who were involved as part of intelligence gathering. You telling me that they didn't know what was going on? And you said if things had to come there by night, they have to light up those airstrip. They have to light up those airstrip. Something is definitely wrong. And then they're not involved. The police not involved. The minister Ben carry the press there. Not a police, as you said, not the ops man. Well, if he didn't want to carry the ops man, what about the admin man who was a former commando? Huh? Well, what about the extended squatter? What about the crime chief? Well, I know he's the head of the special branch now. Oh, that I think is the triple jumper. I can't imagine, that the police not involved. Is it that they don't trust the police? Perhaps they don't trust the police. You're using army, you're using canoe, and not a police there. Not a police thing. A major operations like this here. And then again, what the minister doing there? What the minister doing in operation matter? That is an operation matter. The minister is policy, not operation, and then he carrying journalists, and no police there. Something is wrong somewhere, drastically wrong. What the minister do there? Just like with the Maja fire, where 20 persons died. Shortly after, the minister and them trampling down the scene, trampling, and then they burned the cocaine. They took samples and they burned the cocaine. You know, but let me give a piece of the button here, man.
Yeah, they never farm, so I can take the button. I can take the button. You know, this remind us, because based on what the report is saying, months, this thing been going on months. Police and know. People were able to compartmentalize and keep this thing secret from the police, from the major law enforcement agency in the country. It reminds us of the investigation into the Mohammeds and May Toussaint, conducted over a 2-year period by, I think, 11 or 13 agencies, federal and state agencies of the U.S. And not a peek they didn't get till when the sanction come down, Bram. That is what is going on. And I'm saying, I will be bold to say, I will make bold to say that the reason why the police weren't involved and the police were kept out of this whole thing because they entrust the police. I am saying that. There can be no other conclusion. And somebody says seems to have been a DA operation. Yeah, the DA get the technology and all this everything, but they make sure that whatever. And let me say this further. They are flying in Kanu from Georgetown. I don't think Kanu get it. James Singh been there in charge of Kanu, and the office and be in town. So he's flown into this area. The colonel from the army, think he's the second in command, is flown in there. Ben is flown in. The media is flown in there. All of these people are flown in. Police didn't know what's going on. Police didn't know. They kept out the police completely. And I know this thing does work. Under normal circumstances, the man would have said, hey, Commissioner, we got operation there. Maybe we need support and so on. That thing there. But I'm sure when this information was passed, I am sure, that is my personal opinion, that those people would have been told not to tell the police. They would have been told not to tell, and them frightened, so they won't attack. They are afraid, so they will not speak. But this is a major slap, another major slap, coming on the heels of allegations being made that senior police officers are involved in corruption, money laundering, financial impropriety. One man that says made or the actual leave, he sent off and leave. Brutus I'm referring to. On the heels of that, you have a major drug operation, according to them, the largest land operation involving drugs. And the police are kept in the dark. The police, perhaps justifiably so, because according to the thingy, as I've said, senior cop fingered. And let me tell you all, when it's about senior cop, people are asking who's the commander. Well, they say who's the senior cop. But I know the commander of Region 1 is Senior Superintendent Shah. I'm not Shah, I think is his name. He is the person in charge, and I think they have an officer named Kulip somewhere in the area too, either at Matches Ridge or somewhere. He is there. He is there. He's the person in charge. I am not saying that they're the ones who are fingered, but they are the persons in charge of that area. And don't forget, they tell me I look like elephant and we get a little elephant memory. It was around 2011, 2010, when a controversial former senior police officer was caught on tape by the Pegasus area. Y'all remember that? Trying to extort money from a drug man. That's what it was said. The man was a drug man trying to enter some deal, and then he claimed that when the thing bust out, he was doing undercover work that nobody knew of and all of that. That same man was at a meeting. I left the work. Henry Green was commanding the meeting. And then Henry Green sought to mention and rebuke in respect to the same matter. And I was informed, reliably so, that the man said, you're talking about me extorting money from drug man. Look through your window. Look through, you see them two cars there? One is your personal assistant, and one is a senior officer right here. Driving drug man vehicle, coming fancy drug man vehicle. Driving vehicle owned by drug men, known a drug man, by a known drug man. They were driving it into police headquarters. That was a regular mode of transportation. The man either give them or lend them, they drive it. And the senior man, who is still around, very senior, he said, well, he and the man is friend, but you know that the man is a drug man. That's what he said. He and the man is friend, but you know, I got to remember these things and I got to bring them. Yeah, come and say it's not true. Come and say that a lie, I'm going to call your name. Because some of y'all are still around. One man I know retired some years ago, resigned some years ago, or he left the work, as we would say. That's the man who was a PSC, he left the work. We know his name and everything. The other man, who, and then the information was, when the man was making this thing, said, look outside there. He run on the phone, the man, he put on the phone, don't call nobody. Right in a meeting in Green at police headquarters. Right in a meeting there. And them are the same people now they're pointing the finger and they're trying to attack Slew and they're trying to tarnish Slew image and career. Let it come. Let them come. Right there. Right. The people then trust them. And that is a major, major slap in the police force. Don't care how they twist it and turn it. Why you believe Ben seems to have been so nervous? He must have recognized that that is an indictment against an organization that he is responsible for at the political level. He must have realized that. He and all that stupid. He must have realized that to have such a major operation and to exclude completely the Guyana police force. I saw, I think it was in the Stabrook News or something, they said, I think in the last paragraph or something, after the operation, the regional commander was briefed. And after the operation, the regional commander was briefed. Yeah, Edward, they can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth. I posted that last night on social media. They cannot handle the truth. And let me go to the article today before I bring back in Mr. Conway. Kaichon News, a senior police officer is allegedly connected to the 188 million, well, some people said 200 million, U.S. cocaine bust at Matthews Ridge Region 1 last Saturday. And law enforcement authorities are looking to question him regarding his alleged role in the smuggling of drugs out of the area. Law enforcement authorities believe that the large quantity of cocaine that was seized in a joint services operation was being transshipped to Europe. So far, no one has been arrested, and the Custom Anti-Narcotic Unit said that one man has been arrested, and they say several others escaped when law enforcement swooped down on the Barima Winey operation. Kaichor News has been told that a senior police officer is being questioned in relation to his involvement with the traffickers. Sources told this newspaper that the officer might have been aware of the operations at Matthews Ridge, where cocaine was frequently dropped off and then picked up by small aircraft. And then they say they are now quoting, quote, they are looking into reports that this officer was aware of the operations and when the drugs would move in and out, end of quote. One source told this newspaper. Then it said joint service team led by Kanu on Saturday unearthed approximately 4.4 tons, which is 4,400 kilograms of suspected cocaine, which has a current street value of 188 million US, at a nearby illegal airstrip at Matthews Ridge. Neatly stashed, the cocaine was found buried in 4 and-dug pits, which averaged 5 to 6 feet deep, covered with tarpaulin wood, then some bushes. Speaking on the successful seizure, Director of Kanu James Singh told media operatives at the site that this could not have been done without the collaboration of the Guyana Defense Force Special Forces Unit, the United States Drug Enforcement Agency, DA, and the government through the Ministry of Home Affairs. He said the operation is one of many that they would have conducted over the last 5 months, with the Guyana Defense Force playing their part in helping to identify illegal airstrips within the country and monitoring them. In this case, we were lucky in the sense that we were able to strike at the right time, whereby we were able to seize the drugs before they were transshipped to another further location, Singh said. And then he goes on to explain. But what is informative, as I said, is the last part, what he said in this page, right? He said, this could not have been done without the collaboration of the Guyana Defense Force, GDF Special Forces Unit, the United States Drug Enforcement Agency, and the government of Guyana. Absent from this whole reckoning is the Guyana Police Force. See, take over. I got an important call coming through. Let me answer. Take over, man.
Okay. All right, and we may ask the question, what about in terms of intelligence gathering? What about boots on the ground? We know that the ranks in the interior will go out and patrol the far-flung area, and check out issues. And they even had them, allegations at them that they had to make out bogus accounts and submit it to the finance officer, where they say that the money would be going in not to them, but money going into the welfare fund, which I understand it never reached the welfare fund. And don't they have boots on the ground? And what happened with the cameras? What happened with the camera? What happened with the eye in the eye in the sky? What happened to Safe City? Those cameras weren't not working. Not working. And here is it from the Sheldon Howell, who at the time was acting chief of defense staff. He said the seizure is indicative of months and years of intelligence sharing at all agencies. Perhaps that all agency didn't include the police. And then we have to recall that the PPP government had resisted the DA coming into Guyana. They resisted, and the same DA assisting them now. Major breakthrough, major find, but nothing but the police. That might be more like nothing but the police. The police not involved. They said a brief the Region 1 commander. It should be other way around, where the Region 1 commander should have been briefing them about the operation, but they left out the police. And then sometimes you might want to know, did they jump the gun? If they know that this thing was stashed away there, couldn't they wait and see if, and find out if other aircraft would have come in to move it, or to move it and to get it through Port Kaitumo by sea? They jump the gun. Sometimes be too quick to take action. Maybe they could really get at the source if they had waited out, if they had given, as I said, they had surveillance. Get surveillance and wait, patiently wait. Just like unlike what they did, remember in Georgetown, they found a pink suitcase in an alleyway with a whole set of weapons, and they just go and pick it up and carry it instead of, checking to see. They get equipment to wait and see whether or not anybody would come on and pick it up. Sometimes you got to get to the source of it. It appears to me what they're doing, they were picking the fruits. And when you pick fruits, other fruits will grow. The thing is that you have to chop the main root. And when you chop the main root, the tree will die. And then what happened to other security agencies at the national level? We talk about the Joint Intelligence Committee. They had one Lisa called CIA, it's still operating. And then the current one, NISA. Were they involved? Did they pick up intelligence? What is going on in the place? That they have to wait on the DA, and then they're not involved in the police. And here is it, Minister Ben taking up the role, political interference in the operations of the police force. No police, Augustus, no police in involvement. It's shocking to the bone. No police in involvement. That really it mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that a major thing like this, 4.4 tons of cocaine, and no police involvement. And then the minister take it on your own and say, hey, we're taking samples and then we're going to burn the cocaine. What about if they hold some other people subsequently, or they just feel that, hey, They found the cocaine, and there's the end of it. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I mean, this thing is very, very worrying, mind-boggling, as you say. So that's such a major, major operation, and the Guyana Police Force is left out completely. The Guyana Police Force is left out completely from this operation, completely. They flew in from Akanta Bend, what we just saw there. They flew the media in from Georgetown to that location, Matthews Ridge or wherever. They flew in the media. According to them, this operation was going on with Akanta Singh. They come in the area long before, and Singh did not tell one of his counterparts, the commissioner of police, extended squatter. They didn't tell him nothing. Why is that so? Why you think they did not tell him anything? I know these are the people coming after me. They're there in the limelight. As I say again, coming on the heels of this allegation or that the investigation is going on against Brutus, the same person, the same Akin, he should be investigated as well. Because as I show in the tape, he was complicit. There's covering up. You know, if you recall the Watergate scandal, where the people broke into the Democratic National Convention headquarters at the Watergate buildings. Two men, I understand, if I remember it served me correct. I think that was around 1973. When Nixon, the president, and all got trouble, it's not because they broke in, because they were part of the covering up. They became complicit in that they were trying to cover up a crime. And based on what we have seen here, clearly it can, as obstructing the matter, when he said that on national television. This is not a private conversation where he can be misquoted. He said on national television that no money was lodged. And we saw the receipt that $16.5 million was in fact lodged. He said no investigation is being conducted. And we saw, or they came out the next day and said the investigation started. Well, my one was said that the investigation started after he made the statement. But definitely the money that was deposited long before. Long before. And you know, they're trying to fool people. They are trying to fool people. We aren't stupid. We can read through these things. Again, I say the fact that the police were kept out of this operation says that the people who got the information, who are monitoring, and Singh said that this operation had the involvement of the DA of the United States. Somebody saying that maybe they were sparing it is their operation and they only bringing them when everything tie up to do the hard work, to do the legwork, special forces to comb the area, and then they come with canoe and all of this everything. I want you to think about that, students. Think about it. Something going on for days. Then eventually on Saturday, they got to the point where they find where the stuff there. Flew in media from Georgetown, the minister from Georgetown, the acting chief of staff, I think it is, from all them flew in there. And not a single police. Not a single police. Not the man in charge of operations, not the man in charge of special branch, not the man in charge of CID, not the regional divisional commander, not the acting commissioner, the extended squatter, none of them. Understand what's going on there. Understand what's going on. As I said, I am saying that the reason why they did not include them is because they did not trust them. And then, as I said, this morning, Kaichon News is saying top officials, I'm reading the wrong one. Is saying that senior cop fingered in massive corruption, massive cocaine boss at Matthews Ridge. It says senior cop, singular, fingered in this thing. Senior cop. Let me move on to the next issue. I noted yesterday, Mr. Conway, that the police have charged a suspect in the murder of the Rosal lady and her son, which occurred in August of last year. The police now charged. I recall in that matter, they had arrested several persons, including a brother, released them, rearrest people, and all that type of thing over the month. The arrest, release. Now, yesterday, they charged someone with the murder of the lady and her son. I think her son was 8 years old. Now, let me tell you why he's in there. The person with parachute coat in Albion, I think it was, and he was remanded. Now immediately you're going to run into some problem there with them liars. Because the question is going to be asked, why did you arrest others as suspects? Because yes, the record showed they arrest several other persons, and now they arrest this man. So after 1 year, I hope they did proper investigation to make sure they get proper evidence, forensic evidence, and so on to nail whoever the culprit is. I hope they have that, because after 1 year, you had enough time to do a proper investigation. And the fact that you had arrested persons, I don't think this man who is now charged was ever arrested during that early period. So now that you arrested them, liars going to get a feel there, because they're going to ask you also other question in relation to that. You add other suspects, because you arrest people, obviously they're suspects. You don't arrest witnesses. So you arrest them, they're suspects. You release them, people were rearrested and all that, and now you arrest and charge somebody else. Let me see where that will go. Mr. Conway, I know that you want to say something about this. Your views, my brother, as a former commander, as an FBI trained officer, what are your views on this?
Well, surprising again, because I remember they had arrested a whole set of persons, and when they arrest them, they spread their photographs across the social media, a whole set of arrests and rearrests, and I hope that they have good forensic evidence. I hope they ain't here to talk anything like a good DNA, as the case may be, you know. And not just while or they wait for well, they didn't say whether the person has confessed, because first thing I hear they're going to say is confession, but they didn't. But I expect that if they're going to charge now, that they will have good forensic evidence, and perhaps they got good DNA in relation to this murder. And I wonder what happened with those persons who they had arrested and rearrested and spread their photographs all over the social media. Let's see what's going to happen.
Let's see what's going to happen. So let me. I got a tape I want to show. All right, because coming back to this drug thing, CC, we got to remind now about this tape. You know, let me play this tape. It's about 3 minutes long. Let me play it. Listen to what's going on here.
Businessman Barry Dataram, who is before the courts on a major drug trafficking charge, is clearing his mind through his throat in an exclusive interview with HGP Nightly News. Dataram wants the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit KANU investigated, alleging that the same KANU returns drugs seized from drug lords back on the streets.
Operation KANU, them is the most corrupted, rogue security force in this country. They're the biggest drug dealer this country have. The same drugs that they seize, half of it goes back in the street.
How you know this?
Because they sell it to my friends, them. And I got friends and they know these things, you know what I mean? I know.
Dataram says he knows the operations of KANU inside out and is crying foul since he alleges that the very corrupt officers appear in court to offer evidence against persons charged for drug trafficking. He made reference to the recent cocaine bust at his Diamond home, alleging that proceeds from that bust are already back on the streets.
They put it back on the street. The same one where they find where they claim they're down there on the street already. I sure about 30 or 40% upon the road. Yeah. And now this is the same people them going and testify against me in court.
Dataram, though, is not running from the fact that he too deals with cocaine.
Authorities have long accused you of being a drug lord.
Yeah.
Are you a drug lord?
Yeah, I do drugs. I won't say that. I won't say a lie. I never been convicted or nothing.
They've never caught you with anything, really?
No. But I know what's going on with the streets. I know what's going on with KANU. For them is me enemy. And I got to know what is going on with, just like how they got things on me. Just like that, I got things on them too. And all these things I keep on safe.
Guyana and the United States in December of 2015 agreed that anti-narcotics agents would undergo lie detection tests and other advanced screening methods over the next 5 years, now that the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, has established a permanent presence in Guyana. During the tenure of former President Barra Jagdeo, some Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit employees had failed their polygraph tests, and it was Mr. Jagdeo who was quoted as saying that his government would have terminated their services, and added that his administration had been prepared for any ensuing legal battle. Some of those officers are still on the job.
They got to do this, the testing, what they do, the lie detector test, they got to run it back on them. They gotta investigate these people.
Dataram says he challenges any Kanu official to take him up on the allegations leveled, since according to Dataram, the evidence is deep. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Ooh la la, as I say, ooh la la. What about that cauliflower? That's a story a while back. And do you remember that the same man who we saw there, the Dataram, a U.S. citizen, was in Guyana, and the man jumped on a plane. He was wanted in the United States. He jumped on a plane and headed to the States. He had a warrant out for him there, turned himself in basically. And he had his day in court. And what happened? What's the end result? The man was sentenced to time served. The man was sentenced to time served. And as we said before, he must have done some real nice singing. You make Otis Redding, Lata Mangishkar, and all of them look like stupidness. The man must have done some really, really, really good singing. And somebody commented the plain land. That's Richie Spice, I don't mean one thing. The plain land. Where they get the Cali from? Well, this is not Cali, this is cocaine, right? This is what is going on in this country. And then I investigate all them allegations, But as I say, Uncle Sam get the thing. Uncle Sam, and I suspect that Uncle Sam is going to move at what he deems to be the appropriate time. Allegations, serious allegations are made as you are there. And then the man jump. I understand this. That when the man jumped on the plane, that same Dataram, and went to the U.S., and a certain senior man was advised that this man left the country. The man went berserk, cuss up. Why they allow you? They should have found something to keep you. Because he knew that this man was going to the States to spill his guts, to spill the beans, to tell the Fed all that he knew of all of them. So let me wait. I waited for when the indictments are going to be unsealed. Excuse me. I waited for when the indictments are going to be unsealed. Because certainly I believe they will. We can't get these people. People running amok. Corruption galore. And they don't want to deny. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. Let me move on to the final subject for today. CC, you see the tape? I know you're smiling, man. The man spill guts.
Yeah, and then it dawned on me, why Robson Ben decided to burn those cocaine. Perhaps he suspected that the cocaine would have been back on the street, or eventually ending up into Europe or North America or some way. I'm talking about spilling the bean, I was at that meeting that you spoke about earlier, where we were an assistant commissioner spill the bean in terms of who were involved with drug traffickers, who was driving drug people, vehicle, and that kind of thing. I sat next to him, we used to sit in alphabetical order, and I was Commander C. And I was jamming the man's foot under the table for him to stop, but the man wasn't stopping. He had a whole long list of things to talk, and he really, really spilled that bean. I remember that meeting in the morning, and I remember the senior man who is very senior now, who pick up his phone and try to make a call, and then the guy said, "No, put on the phone now, you're calling people for things, and then them kind of things." So I remember a couple of things there, but maybe Ben was afraid that the drug would have gone back on the market.
Well, that's why that's one of the reasons I played that, because it is alleged, mind you, as we would have heard there, that a lot of these drugs, when it seized, it ended back out on the market. That's what the man said. Me, I know. That's what he said. Did they ever investigate that? Did they ever investigate that? I don't think they did. Right? I don't think they did. They spoke about the lie detector test, which I know, including some current senior police officer, failed the lie detector test. Failed the test. And I've been challenging them that based on all the things that I've said that they did to me and I continue to do to me, I'm willing to be polygraphed. That is what the correct name is. I'm willing to be polygraphed to prove whether I'm telling the truth or not. Can they be polygraphed as well? Let me put me there. They want to say like Mark Phillips lie and so on. Let him be polygraphed to determine where he told a lie or not. I said Jagobin Jai Singh, the Secretary to the Police Service Commission, lie in an affidavit. I am willing to be polygraphed. I am willing to be polygraphed. And then I got an interesting comment here that I can't find it to slip away, but I remember the gist of it. Selvin said that maybe the police were busy and the men of the mission operation, they were, your leader said this, but I'm saying this part, maybe they were busy cleaning up mess shit around the place, so they couldn't get enough, they can't get anyone to go on this operation in Massachusetts. They're busy on the coast cleaning up the seawall, and they've been cleaning all over the place, so they couldn't get. Maybe that is a plausible, they would want to think there's a plausible explanation. In the next 5 minutes or so, let me tell you all this one. This got to be continued. You know, there's to be continued, but I just want to whet your appetite at this stage. It says, today again, Kaicho News, top officials at the Ministry of the Home Affairs Ministry knew Brutus's wife was a supplier to the Guyana Police Force. They knew that she was a supplier. And I am saying this is, I am responding, I'm reading this in response to the stupidness of the thing right. And here it says, as the investigations into alleged financial irregularities continue against acting Deputy Commissioner Brutus, he's never acting Deputy Commissioner. Reports are that the Ministry of Home Affairs was aware that the company connected to the senior officer's wife was a supplier to the force. Kaicho News learned that indeed the wife of the officer was a supplier to the Guyana Police Force, and this has been ongoing for close to a year with the full knowledge of very senior officials at the ministry. It is unclear what systems were used to facilitate this process, but vouchers being processed by the Guyana Police Force for suppliers and contractors for other services supplied passed through a number of offices within the Guyana Police Force, which fell under the purview of Brutus before he was transferred. One such company whose vouchers and payments were processed is South Quarter Contracting and General Supplies, Inc., the company that is owned by Brutus's wife. The vouchers, once processed at the Guyana Police Force, will then be sent to the Ministry of Home Affairs, more specifically to the Office of the Permanent Secretary. Kaicho News was told that sometime last year, 2 officials at the ministry had met with Brutus to facilitate the process of ensuring that his wife was added to the list of suppliers to the Guyana Police Force. According to reports, key figures within the Ministry of Home Affairs then contacted officials at the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, who later issued a document that placed South Quarter Contracting and General Supplies, Inc. as a legitimate supplier to the Guyana Police Force. Back in July, during an address to the police symposium, Minister of Home Affairs Robeson called out the Guyana Police Force over questionable accounting practices, bribery, and corruption, and vowed audits and investigations into the alleged malpractices. Then the court here say the core issue at the level of the quality of is not the level of at the level of quality of policing, the minister stated during his address, not quantity in terms of how many police are out there, but the quality of policing, end of quote. A letter from the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board approving Brutus' wife company as a supplier to the Guyana Police Force. So there's a letter there attached. Ben acknowledged the diversity of the Guyana Police Force training and blah, 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 blah. They go on. But this is a letter. I have a copy of the letter from the National Procurement and Tender Administration dated the 21st of December 2023. I just copied to Mr. Andre Ali, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs. And the caption is the inclusion to the list of pre-qualified contractors. The National Procurement and Tender Administration Board acknowledged the receipt of your letter dated 5th December 2023, referencing the above mentioned caption. The content of your letter was reviewed and the National Procurement Tender Administration Board has granted its no objection to your request for the inclusion of the following contractors to the category of provision of construction and other services. The name 5. Marvin Contracting Services, C. BPAT Transportation and General Services, Junior and Son Art Shop, VG Group Inc., L. Pool Civil Works, Alliance Construction and General Supplies, French and Sons Holding Inc., and the last one, South Quarter Contracting and General Supplies Inc. This company says owned by the wife of Brutus, the man who was in charge of administration. That is what it said. That is what it said. Before I close, I'm bringing Mr. Conway for his closing comment, but I want to remind our cricket fans, I didn't realize that the time ran out so quickly. You would have noted Bangladesh beat Pakistan. 2 test matches series. Bangladesh won the first one, and then to show that it was not a fluke, they won the second one as well. And of course, we get CPL ongoing. I think tonight the Amazon Warriors play St. Lucia, not St. Lucia, St. Kitts, whatever the name. I told my cricket buddies and things, I am a Guyanese, but I'm not a Warrior fan. I am not a Warrior fan. I'm a Guyanese. I support the players, but I don't support the franchise because I'm aware of what goes on in that particular franchise. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for his closing remarks, and then we're going to move on.
Right.
CC?
I'm making another plea, for the police administration in B Division. The last session we talked about a floating bridge, Lewis Manor, where the policemen are stationed there and persons have to go and make a report there, that the bridge floated away. And weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and nothing was done. And even down to Donna, before that, I understand a report was prepared months ago and sent to the commander for work to be done to look after that bridge. I think the OC then was Deputy Superintendent Davison or something like that. And nothing's done. I think it's a occupation health and safety hazard. Persons using the facilities. The bridge has floated away for weeks now, and nothing has been done. And this is a very sad one, Paul. I think you know her well. Retired woman Inspector Fraser from West Coast, Barbies. I understand she died 2 days ago. I wish to express my sympathy to her husband, Ted, and all other relatives. May her soul rest in peace.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't hear about that one. So,
yeah, I just said it. Confirm.
Condolences to Ted and so. So, folks, we have come to the end of today. The time really flew. I again got to compliment the students on the turnout today. And all things being equal, God spare life. We'll come again on Monday. But as I said to you guys repeatedly, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Follow the page on Facebook. And if something comes up and we got to come to you before, we will do so. Either what you used to call it, one more button, that's single wicket, or double wicket, we're going to come to you. But the only way you're going to know is if you subscribe to the channel, if you follow the page on Facebook. And don't forget, the offer is still there for those of you who want to get some fight, those of you in America in particular, who want to get some introduction, some free knowledge about financial literacy and so on. Reach out. Many persons have reached out, and I have provided them with the information. Reach out, and you will be provided. I'm costing you nothing, so don't believe selling you anything. I'm just providing you with the opportunity to get some knowledge, to plan for your retirement, to plan for your future, just in case you're called home suddenly, to plan these things and so on. So, folks, God spare life next Monday at 11. We're going to come here again for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, stay well. Bye.